Hey, what's up? Cindy Harvey here of cindyharveyonline.com, and I'm extending a big welcome to you for tuning in to this week's edition of Career Q&A. And just in case this is your first time listening in, I want to tell you a little bit about Career Q&A, and then we're going to dive into this week's topic. So this is my very happy space where I get to help and guide you through your biggest career challenges and share everything that I've learned about women at work, about corporate life, about careers, about getting promoted, about showing up as your authentic self in your work life, share everything that I've learned about those types of topics through my own career in corporate HR leadership for over 15 years. And so I'm really excited about today's topic. I always am, and this week is no different. And so today the question I'm answering is, how can I stand out? Now, as I'm sure you've either heard or experienced yourself personally, whether you're looking to make your next career move at the company that you're in right now, or you want to step into a brand new role at a brand new organization, getting yourself noticed either through the internal promotion process or the external hiring process is not easy. It's tough, and it's nerve-wracking, and it can be super frustrating. And actually, it doesn't really matter whether you're going through an internal or an external process. The need to be visible, to be seen, and to be able to show them what you can bring to the table is the same. You've got to know how to stand out in a meaningful way that's relevant and also that's really intentional. So let's talk about one way that you can accomplish this goal of standing out and being visible in a meaningful and intentional way, and also doing that while being strategic and super, super smart about what you're doing. And that strategy is this: you've got to put yourself in the company's shoes. Sounds simple, right? Well, let's dig into it and really figure out how to do this well. Now, this principle of putting yourself in the company's shoes really applies to building your brand in general also. You always want to do it and build your brand with an eye on what the other person needs and wants. And that's how you get, and also not just get, but also keep their attention. In the world of work and careers, for us, especially as women, putting yourself in your target company's shoes, again, this is necessary for both internal and external career moves, is a really smart play. And so I'm going to walk you through how you do this step by step. So first thing to think about is the way that you step into the company's shoes is to think about what they want. What goal or goals are the company chasing? What are their objectives? What are the things that they're wanting to accomplish this year, next year, in the next 5 years? And there will be some goals and objectives that are very specific and unique to each individual company, but there are also some general ones that every successful company wants and needs to achieve. And one of those universal goals that every company has is to compete and to be competitive in the marketplace. And on a side note is that I'm talking about for-profit organizations. So just keep that in mind as we go. Nonprofit or community organizations may be totally different, but for-profit organizations definitely do have this goal of being competitive. So make sure that you just write that down because it's important, okay? So how does being competitive help the organization? So there's a couple of different ways. First and foremost, it grows their market share, helps them to acquire new customers, which in turn increases revenue, and hopefully out of increased revenue, there's increased profits. And ultimately, most for-profit companies that are public, their goal at the end of the day is to increase shareholder value. So competitiveness can also boost a company's brand and your perception of how good they are, and that's something that they want. And know that I am going to tie all of this back to you and your brand in just a second. I'm just setting some context here so that you understand everything clearly. So just stick with me for a minute. Now, this goal of being competitive comes with some challenges. And one of the biggest ones is, how does company A differentiate itself from company B, company C, D, E, follow that all the way through the alphabet. And just to give you an example, let's look at the tech industry where I spent, several years of my career heading up recruitment for North America, just as an example. So when I think about leading tech companies, names like Google and Microsoft and IBM, Oracle, Apple, Adobe, Dell, HP, all of those companies come to my mind. And these are all names that we've heard of along the way. And when I ask you, if I were to ask you, so what does each of these companies have in common? The simple answer is that they all produce some combination of hardware and software products. On the surface, they're all on the same level, right? So these companies know that they need to stand out because their neighbors or their competitor companies are doing similar things. And so standing out becomes very important, and differentiation becomes very important. In the same way that you need to differentiate yourself when you're going through your brand creation and your job search and trying to move into that next role. And the way that most of these companies do this and accomplish this kind of differentiation is through their talent. And that's you. Their talent are the people working in their offices, servicing their customers, selling, and all the other jobs it takes to run a major global organization. And when it comes to talent and the people who work for a company, meaning you and your colleagues, the company's desire is really to maximize the return on the investment they made with hiring you, with paying you every couple of weeks, with providing you with a space to work, with keeping the lights on, giving you benefits and other perks. That costs the company a ton of money. It's usually one of the biggest expenses that a company has, is all of the accumulated cost of having a workforce. And in return, they're looking to you to help them gain a competitive edge in the marketplace. Does that make sense? Now, I'm really simplifying the nature of this employee-company dynamic to make this easy for our conversation. There are, of course, other elements that come into play on both sides, but let's keep this super simple and keep it going on this level for our purposes. So here's where you and your brand step in. Knowing all of this and having this context in your back pocket, know that your job is to shape your brand to demonstrate how you help the company stay competitive. All right, it's so important. I need you to write this down. I'm going to say it one more time. So your job is to shape your brand to demonstrate how, underline the word how, you help the company stay competitive. And I'm going to walk you through 5 ways that you can rise to the top of the employee or the candidate pile through the power of your brand. So let's walk through this together. Take some notes here once again and start thinking about how you demonstrate these 5 skills that help a company to stay competitive and differentiate itself from other companies doing similar work. All right, so the first one of the 5 skills is collaboration. So majority of companies, especially some of the ones that I mentioned that are huge international organizations, are complex systems that are trying to get many parts to work together to produce a common outcome or a common result. And the way to think about this is that we're trying to align people and processes and customers and systems and different departments and different leaders, et cetera, and getting all of these individual pieces to march together in the same direction. So around the theme of collaboration, someone whose brand shows that they inspire collaboration and create alignment across these different parts, that person and that brand will stand out. Let's move on to number 2. The second key skill that companies need to be competitive in the marketplace, and they're looking for this from their talent and their employees, is persuasion and influence. Now, this is also related to collaboration, just another layer and another level of collaboration. So again, with the complexity of most companies out there, there's the need to get individual parts moving in the same direction to create results and to create an outcome. So again, someone whose brand can demonstrate a skill and a talent at influencing and persuading others to take the right and the necessary action to achieve that goal, that person, that brand will stand out. Number 3, innovation and creativity. One of the keys to corporate competitiveness that I've seen is the ability to introduce new ways of seeing things, new ways of doing things. And someone who can show through their brand that they bring new ideas, relevant ideas, not just new, but relevant ideas that help other people, again, move forward to the goals and the objectives and help to respond to problems, that person and that brand will stand out. Number 4 is adaptability. So thinking about the world on a global basis right now, it is super fast-paced, it moves really quickly, and factors like globalization and technology really have a huge influence on this. And the most competitive companies they're nimble, they're responsive to what's happening in the marketplace and what's happening in their industries. So once again, people whose brand demonstrates their ability to adapt to changing circumstances and adapt to ambiguity, those brands and those people will stand out. And number 5 is efficiency. Time is money, honey. And that's an old saying that has stood the test of time because it holds true. So someone whose brand can tell and show the story of how they produce results in the best possible manner, of course, given the circumstances that they're faced with, the person whose brand can tell that kind of story will stand out. So there you go. Those are 5 of the skills that companies need the most. I'll repeat them for you one more time. They're collaboration, persuasion and influence, innovation and creativity, adaptability, and efficiency. So I hope you wrote all of that down. If you missed any of them, go back and have another listen to that section of this episode. It's so important for you to have this info in your back pocket. I feel like I'm opening up the vault here, but you have to know this stuff or you'll stay stuck, and that is not an option. So from here, your job then is to get clear on how you deliver, how you demonstrate these 5 skills in your job today. Start collecting your examples and build these into your brand right now. If you don't have examples to draw on, that's okay. Your job then is to start getting busy developing these skills so that you can weave them into your brand in the very near future. Look for opportunities to step up and build your experience and your expertise in these areas. I'm sure that there are opportunities around you all the time. They cross your path every day. You just may not be intentionally looking for them, so you're missing them, but they are there. So here's what I would love to know. When you think about that list of 5, which one of the skills that I've outlined in our episode today do you feel the strongest in? Where do you excel? Leave a comment here and let's keep the conversation going. I'd love to know what's in your mind. And if you found this episode helpful at all, I'd love for you to share this message with one other person today. I believe that we have a responsibility to help each other rise up as women. So by sharing this, you'll be doing your part. And the last thing I want to say before I wrap things up for this week is I've got something to share with you. Just in case you didn't hear, I made something really special for you. And I want to invite you to grab my new free guide, which is called Get Promoted Playbook. And in this guide, you will learn the 10 strategies you can use to position yourself for promotion, even if playing politics just isn't your thing. All you have to do is go to www.cindyharveyonline.com/playbook and get your copy today. It's free. It's easy. Go do that as soon as we're done here and get your copy so that you can start to make some career moves that help to get you noticed and move you forward. So that's it for now, my friend. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.